Ah, there we go. Jeez, guys, once again, I reset things up, and what do I forget to do? Turn on my mic. So, strike against me for not paying attention once again to my mixing board and making sure that you can hear me. Sorry about that, guys. I literally been yakking my guts out. You probably even noticed I was yakking my guts out for like the last 10 minutes, so yeah, nuts to me. So how's everybody doing this fine day? Triple P, Dell, Bees, Raven, how are you guys doing? I think my video's stalling out a bit. I'm going to fix that up here with you guys while we're yakking away. That's probably what had me all bloody distracted for the most part. 60 when it's small is fine, but we're going to change the quality. There we go. Refresh. Done. Should look a little better now. You're setting up that RO unit, are you? Awesomeness. Awesomeness. Excellent. Good to hear. And everything looks better. There we go. So, some changes I made. Yeah, there you go, Bees. Yeah. So, Paul said he's going to hook you up, right? From Reef Community Worldwide? There we go. So, I am going to guess that if I wanted to come in, the way it's been running, I got to do everything by hand. Which, you wonder why I'm thinking about, actually, I'll still be streaming to YouTube, but I may be actually switching off the Hangout stuff. I'm just a little tired of, for lack of a better word, the support that this thing shows is absolutely deplorable. People asking for links. I shall send them out. It's been sent. So yeah, yes, my dirty scummy Cheeto might be moved over unless it's completely dissolves. Yeah, I've been watching mine. I'm actually debating getting a couple of UFOs to put in my refugium. The 60 watts are doing the job, but I don't know. I don't want to have to add iron to my system just to keep it healthy. You know, I should be able to get the light and get it to generate it off what's there, so. You know, that's the thing about the fish hobby, right, Triple P, is that, yeah, too wide, too flat, you got, you know, space is a premium, right? It depends what you want to set up, too, right? So if you wanted to set up a 20-gallon nano like mine, so, you know, kind of do this kind of thing, that tank only takes up a footprint of like 30 by, let's be honest, let's say 36 inches by, oh, no, that's a lie. If you add my reservoir I have, the 10-gallon, it takes up about 4 feet by 1.5 feet space, right? Which isn't that bad. There is an issue with you got to watch out for ammonia when you have a lot of reptiles in the house. But unless it's an enclosed space, like I mean really enclosed, lack of airflow entirely, it's not generally an issue. But I had a fellow reefer here who's a huge reptile guy, and he was making his water in his reptile room, and because he had, you know, his rats and everything that he breeds in there to feed his reptiles. He was, and his CO2 kill chamber. He was actually contaminating his water before it was going in the tank. I don't mind the octagon, hexagon tanks. The only problem I have with them, cleaning them's a bit of a pain. Space is a bit of an issue, and getting a sump set up for them can be a bit of a pain. So it's always, you know, what it is. But man, whatever you're willing to do is really what it comes down to, right? Yeah. Yeah, if you're noticing that going up to a bigger wattage light wasn't really helping, yeah, that's neither here nor there. I think it's the spectrum. I really do. Those UFOs on Amazon are not expensive. And a 50 watt in the right spectrum is going to do more than 100 watts that's just got it all. So. No, it's not an expensive hobby either. I mean, you can do what I did with this 20 gallon and go whole hog, and I blew about 1,300 bucks just drilling it, doing it, building the stand, building the the cabinetry and everything for it. Um, but you don't have to. I could have probably cheaped out and gotten away with maybe 200 bucks, 300 bucks. That's including the rock. So. Yeah, turtles are a mess. Oscars aren't that far behind them, really. Hmm. Maybe we both got the same problem, bees. Maybe we'll have to hit Cruz up or somebody about that tonight and see if we can find out why both of our Chados are a little lacking. Mine's a deep green, but I'm getting a lot of scum, so I'm probably getting a flow issue. Um, it's what it is, right? So it's catching a lot of the detritus that is making it pass stuff. So that's the same thing with tangs. Positive. It's the same idea, right? Like I try and tell people, tangs are great. Problem with tangs is that they do foul up the water really, really, really bad. Um, you got to make sure your bio load is you can handle the bio load. So yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I've got one in there, but it's not anywhere near it, and it's a very weak one. So I might actually play around with that a little bit. And I got to be careful because I got that female clown in there, so I don't want to dance her around in a very small space with a butt ton of flow. So yep, no, that's always a good idea too. Don't be afraid to throw your critters that are problematic, aka some snails or hermit crabs, in your sump. Right, they'll keep it cleaner, right? Yeah, there's lots of people that did. You know, um, Nick and Cruz, a few others have been doing it since under gravel filters were a thing. I can just imagine the mess of that thing after a while. It just would be mind-blowingly crazy. So Raven, you have RO or RODI? Saying. I hear you. So, so you're without fish now, but you popping in here. Obviously, it's something you're thinking about again. On here. Here we go. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep talking here so that there's no dead air. That always bothers me. Dead air was always a thing in a lot of things I did. There we go. So he's busy. That's fine. It may be a lazy Sunday, but it doesn't mean people don't have things to do, right? I am feeling for the people in this house, man. If they give me that, I'll be out, guys. Honestly, I end up with a full-on lung infection or something, and I will be gone for about a week. Just letting you know. So Raven, your RO unit is it an RODI? I think you said it was RODI. Said that. Or is it just RO? I guess my question. as I keep an eye on Facebook as well. It's like, come on, folks. Somebody wants to know where to get that, eh? Reef. Gotcha. Nope, so do a page. There we go. Somebody just looking for a product, and it's like, I know where you can get that. You can get it here. I don't know why that's not working, but okay. There we go. Now it works. Piss off. So, what business are you starting up, P? Okay, cool. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, you know, it's Sunday. Grab your coffee, you know, grab your smokables, whatever you smoke, and let's see where the day takes us, right? You know, can't really get around that. It's Sunday, so I'm not expecting miracles out of everybody anyway. You know, a lot of people are going to have things to do, shopping still to do, depending on where you are. I know here in St. John, New Brunswick, a lot of people do their shopping on Sunday, so. Alright, folks, 2 secs. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that, folks. Just grabbing a coffee and stuff. Question 5 liters of RO in 15 minutes. It is. So Raven, you're it's just an RO. You don't have an EDI. And yeah, and then B's question, what's the GPD with the gallons per day on it? It's a 50 GPD. Do a little math. Got that sneeze, so I didn't sneeze you guys here. So roughly it's about 2 gallons per hour, give or take. So if you do that and divide it up, that's about right, yeah. Yeah. And then divide that by, or multiply that by liters, and you can divide it down again. Is it 3.8 liters per gallon, as I recall? Something like that, 3.84. And no pump, yeah. What's your pressure like? It does have a pressure gauge? Because that'll make a big difference, is what the pressure is going in, and it'll let you know what you can roughly expect, yeah. And test your TDS, make sure, because I'll tell you, the biggest problem people are going to have when you're dealing with RO, just RO, your TDS tends to go up. So, just warning you. Ooh, hey guys. But, yeah, so, Raven's got himself a new RO unit. We're all going to throw shade at it. No, we're not. Still better than tap water. So yeah, wow, man, I'm having that kind of a day. Everybody's out. No, I'm away, man. All right, dude, that's fine. Yeah, actually, I'm really surprised how busy people are today. That's, you know, I wasn't expecting that, but that's okay. Again, you know, people have lives. You know, same with me. I try to stream at the same time every day. It gets a little rough. Yeah, because you know things come up. Real life's got to come first, right? Check out Craigslist Positive. I'm telling you, most of us are grabbing a lot of stuff used. The only problem I have with the used tank is the scratches. And what I'll do is get in the pour water down the front, and I'll go looking for the glints that tell me that there is. I mean, you can normally see them anyway. I bring a flashlight with me as well, but I won't buy a tank that's all scratched up, right? You know, this one I did. It had a couple of scratches, and they're on the sides, but I wasn't really worried about that. It was the front. They're extremely hard to clean. Hey, Cruz, you all done, are you?
Morning. Hmm?
You all done eating breakfast? Yeah.
Got hungry.
The little fella have fun yesterday. Let's see, what you got him a puppy. You bought him a doggy.
Yeah. Yep. He got a crap ton of freaking toys, and then he's gonna have his birthday party on Monday.
On Monday. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
To be young and spoiled again. You got it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I was looking at some of the transformers that they have out there. You know, like the combiners and stuff. But
Yeah.
they're a little bit too hard for him to transform right now. But he's trying. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to figure it out.
He will.
How things go together. Yep.
Oh, he will.
My my pops used to buy me a lot of the what is it called? The Transformers. You know, when they were called Dinobots.
Yeah, there was
way
Dinobots
back when.
and
Yep, in
GoBots.
19. Yep, it was 1982, I want to say. So yeah, 1982, 1980. I had Lionbot, which was the original Voltron, and then
Yeah.
also the what is it called? I think they called them the Fabulous Five in Japan. I guess that was the translation, but that's the Power Rangers.
Ah, yes.
So I had
Yeah.
some of the original figures at that time. They were like made out of what is it called? Carcinogenic plastic. You know what I'm saying? And the paint, the
Yipper.
metallic paint. So, and then you remember the guy that was riding his dirt bike with the grasshopper helmet and stuff like that,
Yep. Yep.
Bugman or whatever.
I don't, the thing for me, I'm old school, right? So like
Hmm.
Gotchamon, aka Battle of the Planets.
Oh, oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I was part of that generation too. But my pops was stationed over there in Japan at that time.
Oh,
You know
well,
what
they're,
I'm saying?
yep.
So so yeah, had a lot of benefits of the toys. Like when you brought up Star Blazer the other day, that was pretty awesome. Yeah, I haven't heard
Yeah.
the. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
No,
that Robotech. Um, yeah.
I actually got a hold of Force 5.
Hmm.
So it had Star Vengers, Guy King.
Yep.
And these are old school folks. I mean, they literally just repeated the
Oh
footage.
yeah.
Swear to God, they just repeated footage episode to episode.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
uh, Dan Gardace.
A lot of the fighting scenes. Yep. A lot of the fighting scenes were just redone or reused. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, exactly.
Um,
Um,
um, but I mean, if we're talking about going like way back into time, um, when I first started getting into the reefing hobby, I mean, you're talking about there was really, yeah, well, actually, there was no internet, there was no TV. You know, the TVs were, mainly like little shows here and there. You know
yep.
what I'm saying? Nothing really educational.
No.
There was no National Geographic channels. There were no,
You had Nova
what's it called?
occasionally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's mostly about stars and
Yep.
stuff and telescope people. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my telescopes, but looking at other things like birds or like looking at the hawk's nests over here in Illinois, it's pretty cool. And then also the telescopes when you're actually hunting, hunting deer and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah,
So
exactly. So Bees, or Positive Pyramid Programming, is wondering, she's looking for a
mhm.
nice modern tank with a white trim and a cool shape under
I
30
would take a
gallons.
look. Yeah, I would. How many gallons?
30 or under.
Oh, I would take a look at the Nuvos or the Innovative Marines. Um, Definitely double check the ratings on them because there's some that do pull away the silicone or they don't utilize a thick enough silicone bead.
Right.
Typically, what we do when we get some of them is we seal it again, over the existing silicone and put a wider layer over it, especially the aquarium safe silicones on the seams, just to make sure. And then also if it's also seamed at the bottom, do an extra cock of silicone on the bottom as well. We utilize painter's blue tape or
Yep.
frog tape or any of those other ones to get you that nice clean line
Yipper.
a lot of times. So take your time, be patient. I know that Innovative Marine does have some really nice white trim tank, depending on how tall you want your stand. Um, there's different heights and stuff like that. One second, somebody's
Yep.
at the door.
Not a problem. And that's just it. If you're willing to reseal positive, that's going to make life easier too, right? Just make sure when you're inspecting, even if it is a Craigslist tank, make sure it's not cracked, right? Look, really inspect it really well. like I was saying, I'm sure you can. So yeah, we'll have to get you in here talking sometime. That's what we'll have to do. I think Raven knows that I'm really pushing him about the DI. It's like, why'd you only buy an RO unit, buddy? Yeah. He can turn that into an RODI and lickety split Bob a trick. Oh look, I just dated myself again. You'll have to come in and show off your pyramid sometime. That's what you'll have to do there, Triple P. Even a huge tank, you can have bad luck. I understand that completely, trust me. You know, I know a guy who bought a tank and we went and looked at it. I bought a tank off my own Facebook group and could have thrown a complete hissy fit. Bought it up too quick, then I'm looking at it later and it's just scratched all the shit. Like literally the whole tank. Like I'm like, what did you scrape it with? You know, and they're like, well, you know, it wasn't a razor. I said a razor would have been better. You can't scratch glass with a razor unless it's got a defect in the razor. So get a Nuvo. Trust me, innovate those Nuvo tanks. Yeah, Nuvo, Nuvo. They are absolutely fabulous. Yeah. Look great too. Really do look great. Yeah, so while we wait for Cruz to get someone at the door, he's got a busy day ahead too. Yeah. I said, you don't have to come in, man. But he does. He's a great guy. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. No. So yeah, what do we got going on here? Right. Oh, look at that. Another person got ick on my Facebook group. What's going on? Oh, they're not from me. Like I said, I've been kind of trying to track down where this latest outbreak of ick might have come from, who sold what. And it's not to go after the person who's got it, it's just to let them know you got ick. You got ick hanging around your tank. That guy's got his info on where to get Vibrant. Oh, Nuvo makes incredible tanks. Hey, Doraticate, what's going on? Big D. Yeah. So I have been playing a lot of World of Warcraft again. Like I never stop. I am literally tattooed up with I got a horde symbol and everything. I've been playing for, I lost track what, been playing since 2006. So, of course I'm still playing it. Yep, Fluval does too. That's correct, yep. And I think they're all in one tanks too. As I recall, there's a couple of Edge and another couple of designs that are kind of cool. And they make one that's kind of a peninsula, as I did. You did some algae removal, did you? What about the World of Warcraft stuff, D? How long have I been playing that? I've been playing that a long time, man. I actually, my bass player from my last band, when we went on hiatus after my drummer had left, he got me into it at Christmas that year. I guess technically it'd be 2007. Like we literally went out on Boxing Day, and I got the original expansion box set for like $20, and away we went. And yeah, you know, I enjoy it. I still do, especially now that I got a pretty good computer to do it too. Kata killed a lot of people off. When you're a raiding group, Kata was okay. When you weren't raiding, because they made dungeons so hard in the beginning, a lot of people dropped off. Plants. Oh, you're going to start off freshwater again. Yeah, you can. You know, nothing wrong with freshwater. It's just as difficult if you do plant it.
Yeah, it's sorry about that, guys. For
That's all right, brother.
Again, but yeah, freshwater. What we consider freshwater planting is what we would call freshwater reefing. There's a lot of life in there. You know, a lot of the detritivores, a lot of the, you know, little bugs here and there that, you know, eat up all the uneaten food. So yeah, it's very, very similar. And if you actually go high end towards the planted tank, you could spend just as much or more than the
Yeah.
reefing hobby. Exactly.
Yeah. Because, yeah, you want to check out Mass Aquariums. He does a lot of stuff on that. So does George Farmer, if you've never heard of him. Um, who else could you recommend on the freshwater planted tank front? I'll have to think that through. But Mass is the one I know very well. Oh, did you now? Where'd you post that at? Oh no, none of our hobbies are cheap. I try and explain that to people like car people spend a bloody fortune. Oh, on Instagram. Okay. It would. I don't actually use Instagram or Twitter. No. I've actually been looking up doing the live streaming in a different way and how I'm going to work that in. And I haven't quite figured out what I'm doing yet, but I'll still be streaming to YouTube, but I may be using a few platforms all at once. So we'll see. That's all plans in the works, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you still have your CO2, you know, like Mass Aquariums does. If you're actually going to go high end and planted tank, you have to also have really, really good lighting, especially if you want carpeting type of plants in a 24 or deeper tank. And then you also have to have the lighting that's really, really balanced. Um, hold on, guys.
Yeah, it's okay, man. I hear Max. That's fine.
he turned his stunt inside out. Warm.
There you go.
Give me a second. So yeah, I mean,
Daddy,
you need
it's the red side.
I know,
This
Max.
one, because I got
No,
this.
Max, it's this way. The pocket in the front. There you go.
Can't beat that. There you go.
Okay.
Does it feel
Sorry
better?
about
There
that.
you go.
Yep. Pocket in the front.
Yeah.
You know what he said? He goes, I got a pocket there. He goes, I can put stuff there. I said, you don't want to put stuff there. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
He's got his little skibby. He's got his skibby shoes on.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Right. I was saying to a friend the other day, remember when you were a kid and your parents would buy you those clothes that were so uncomfortable, and you tell them that, and they're like, "Well, you just got to learn to bear with it, right?" Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Just deal with it. The itchy ones, the
Yeah.
wool. I hate the wool pants.
The wool pants.
Especially going to freaking Sunday church.
You know, or the corduroys, man.
And then they yell at you and say, "Stay still.
Stay still.
Quiet.
Be quiet." Exactly.
Stop fidgeting. Stop fidgeting. And I'm like, dude, it's itchy. Freaking back of the legs all red. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and positive, I'll tell you, Lego's a big money suck too. I wanted to get the Ferrari Lego kit. I've got the Mega Bloks F1 car and the Technic, and I've been trying to get a hold of the Ferrari F1. But everybody wants like $500 for it. And I'm like, no. No.
I bought it when it first came out, and it was over there at Legoland thing.
Right.
And it was like about 200
yeah.
bucks.
Yeah, exactly,
so
right.
I got a deal on that.
Yeah.
And then I let my middle son actually play with it, and that was it.
That was it for that. Yeah.
I didn't feel like putting it back together again, because I mean, it took me a good, like, you know, close to about I want to say 3-4 weeks, because, you know, I'd just come home, do it, you know, a couple here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And Doradica's talking about the RC cars, running the nitro ones, $30 a gallon and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
See, I don't have nitro. I have a Valenian. I have a Type 2 Valenian motor in mine. So I love that hobby too.
Yeah, I was watching RC one today, and the guy built his own Harrier and working nozzles, the whole thing.
Way.
Yeah, he's got it right now. You can look it up, and he's got it he's got it hovering. Now he's working on finishing up the body of it, and then working on the transition. And for you guys that don't know, the big trick with any VTOL aircraft is moving from stationary to forward momentum without the aircraft falling to the ground, right? So, yeah, it's going to be neat to see if he pulls that off without, or that he doesn't get it where it's working, and the first day he takes it out to show everybody he crashes it, because I've seen more videos of guys with big RC that crash them.
And that's with some of the Harriers, what I've seen is that they also have a third jet intake. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
To actually give them the lift.
Yep. This guy's actually got it as a Harrier, just as a Harrier would be. So the single, single intake, both sides.
So the Pegasus type.
He's got it set up like a Pegasus. Yep. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of work, man, to actually figure out all the ducting and everything. Like, like you think
they did a triple duct. Yeah, they did a triple duct on this one, where it had the single intake from the front, and it had one that directly just pushes down on the on the center mass of the actual plane. I don't know how the hell he freaking calculated it, but it looked freaking badass.
Yeah,
you could barely see the slits where the freaking air was coming out from the bottom lift.
Yeah, this guy did a really good job. You got to see it.
And then the two freaking engines, the strafes, or whatever the heck you want to call it.
Yep.
That was very, very similar to his Pegasus, to the Pegasus engines.
Yeah, this guy's using a 130 millimeter jet. I think he's using a turbofan. He's not using an actual jet engine. He said he looked into it. It was going to be too heavy. 130 millimeter. Ducted? Yeah, ducted. That's a big engine, right? You know what I mean? So when he built it, it's 1/8 scale. That's big. I don't know if you guys know your scales, but that's big.
I'll YouTube it.
You'll have to, because that's where it is, right? Trust me.
I have seen the Blackbird one. The Blackbird one is badass.
Yeah, total badass. Yeah. Like you want to
actually utilize a friggin' turbo turbine.
Did you ever see the guy who did the C-17 Globemaster? That's 1/5 scale. Oh my jeez.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That effort was freaking huge.
Yeah, and then goes by dropping out parachute packs. You know what I mean? Like wow.
Yeah. Like supply guys. Yeah. That's a little bit too much.
Yeah, like that's.
And, I mean, it's just like any hobby, including the reefing hobby. You can go as simple as you want and have a beautiful tank, crystal clear, no problems, no algae.
Yeah.
And then you could go to something as big as friggin' 1,000 gallons, or more.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on your budget. And not everybody can afford it, so bigger isn't necessarily better.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Especially if you don't have the funding for it, and you wouldn't be able to take care of a lot of the what is it called? A lot of the problems that you would encounter.
Yeah, because the costs are exponential, right? So
exactly.
We were talking about that. I'm a nano guy. I know I am, right? 120, I don't consider a nano. I mean, considering the ocean, it is, but it's everyone's like, why don't you get rid of it? I can't. My wife is just so hooked on it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it goes back to what Kelly was saying. It's not going to come out, Bugs. It's cloudy today, and it's very, very cold. We're getting a cold snap. Okay.
And my friends had to put on my jacket.
Sorry, guys.
Nope, it's okay. I'm just linking up Doraticus looking for Reefer Madness on Facebook there, and I haven't looked at that in a while. I check on it as much as I can, but I am not a big social media person, folks. I really am not. I may do YouTube, but there's things about social media. 254 members. How the hell did I get that many in there? I guess so. I have 5 new members this week alone. Cool. Yeah, and that's just it. The bigger you go with your tank, it can be easier in some respects because you have more time for things when they go wrong. But it's if you're diligent, if you're that kind of person, a small tank isn't going to cause you any more issues. You just got to be on top of it so that if things are starting to swing or something's starting to happen, you're on it before it turns into an issue, right? So, yeah. But same problems, more money, more problems, man. It's the way it works, right? So, and
so yeah, like I was saying about the nano tanks, Craig. Sorry.
Sorry, making my kid work for his money.
Absolutely. And anybody that's listening, we will bounce between reefing and other stuff, other hobbies that we also like. So if you like that free form style, but still be able to talk and get back to reefing, give Craig a thumbs up on his channel, please.
Yeah, and you can join Reefer Madness as well. I generally try to check it while I'm streaming. That way I'll catch it. So yeah, I have not gotten an answer on the ick thing from yesterday. Remember I told you I was looking into that? We wanted to find out where it was coming from. Because, everybody's got theories and prevalent theories on ick. And it did not come from my LFS guy. The guy I deal with, not a chance. He literally caught 7 fish, 5 different tanks, right? And he was, these guys were around since this guy bought his fish. Nothing. And if they were going to exhibit ick, it would have been there somewhere. Like, he was looking all over everybody. He's that kind of,
Yeah, it's probably from one of the batches that came in, one of the fresh ones.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I said, if it got there, it left before it got to you, right? I said, don't worry about it. I mean, it's still going to come.
Yeah, meaning that they didn't quarantine.
No, he did.
Well,
they were in a quarantine. Now I've been telling them to let me show his setup.
I'm talking about before that.
Oh, before it got to him.
You catch him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was a cherub angel, but the thing that's funny is that those two got aggressive with each other. He split them up. This fellow Reefer, and in this 29-gallon tank, his neon goby and his clown goby are the only two that have ick. They're not even. That's not even close to being the normal.
Get it.
Clown gobies almost never get it.
Rarely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're don't know why.
It's the slime coat. They get a similar one to mandarins, so they have such a thick slime coat, right? So it's weird.
But it has. Yeah. But the thing is that you have to be able to get the slime off, and that's where I go always back to the bubbling. The bubbling helps fish and corals remove their excess slime, and it lifts it up and carries it to the skimmer, so you could actually eradicate it from the system.
Well, and I
also protects them from.
You got it.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I had a guy here today getting water, and I was bubbling and I showed him how easy it was to bubble, and he's still resistant. I'm like, why? You know what I mean? What on earth? I said, if I'm looking at you and I can show you, I said, this tank I've been bubbling, this one on the screen, the other one on the screen, for 2 months now.
It's kind of like what it's kind of like what Nick was saying the other day. Everybody's reefing in fear.
Yeah.
They're scared to do anything, and sometimes when you get paralyzed to do anything positive for your tank.
Agreed.
You end up freaking ruining it anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Like I was telling somebody, like that. I said, well, even if you wiped out everything in your tank, let's just for the sake of argument, I'm out a couple $100 in this little tank. I'm out a few $100 in the big tank. I said, but in the scheme of things, I said, how many corals have you killed? And the guy looked at me, right? I said, how many corals have died? And if you priced it up, how much money did you blow just doing that? The link worked. All right, let's have a look here. So, we're shooting the breeze about other stuff. I'm going to have a look here.
Oh, absolutely.
I got to approve them to get in, so.
Okay, cool. And previous to what we're talking about, the ick, the nano tank styles.
Yep.
It's kind of, and I was trying to make the relationship to, what Kelly's doing, which is the seahorses.
Yep.
Is that with a lot of the nano tanks, you could have species only systems.
Yep.
That, can be you know, very, very rewarding. You know, if I want just nothing but friggin' mandarins, I'll have a mandarin tank. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And make sure that I have tons of pods and everything else. I don't have to worry about the, you know, algae and stuff like that going into it because the pods are going to eat it anyways. Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, pyramid or positive or whatever I'm going to call you. I'll probably call you several things all day. I just won't call you late for dinner, okay? The trick to that is she has a channel on here on YouTube. It's called The Seahorse Whisperer, right? She does Wine Wednesdays every Wednesday at, give or take, I think it's 8:30 Eastern. So there's that. She also comes in here quite a bit. I try to get her on whenever she's available. And she has a Facebook page called the Seahorse Whisperer Society.
Yep.
Right? And you can check it on there. And some of the people she has around her are the best in the
They're
hobby.
Experts in the field.
Yeah.
Yep. Breeders.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys from MASNA, MASNA, which is also the Marine Aquarium Society of North America.
Yep.
And yeah, she's got a lot of those guys also that are supporting her and her channels and the mission that she's you know, trying to how do you say it, promote. And I'll let her talk about that if you guys want to hear about it.
Absolutely.
You know, I'd rather have it come from her mouth and you guys to listen to her because she's very, very passionate about the marine aquarium.
Very much so.
As well. You know, very much like you know, very much like we are.
Yeah,
And,
she's.
yeah, it's no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I got a picture here of Doradicate's got a bumblebee snail that has a discoma mushroom on him.
Oh, nice. Fancy dancy, isn't he?
There we go. Look at him, looking all fancy. See if I can make that a little bigger for you.
Yep.
There you go. You don't see that often. I've seen crabs do that, but you normally don't see that very often. So
not around your neck.
There we go. So
sorry,
cool,
he's
D.
playing with some airline tubing.
That's all right, as long as he doesn't wrap it around his neck.
Yep, he almost did.
Yeah, they do. Leave it to children. Let's see if I can kill myself with something innocent. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, he's pretty good about being very, very careful if I tell him. And I think he gets that from, you know, when I'm doing my reef tank and he comes and sees is that, you know, don't touch it if you don't know what it's doing or what it's for.
You know, it's funny that you say that. I got asked to do a video about safety, and I thought, well, safety in the reef tank, you know, and they're like, no, when you're setting it up and you have kids and stuff around the house, and I thought, oh, I never really thought about that. You know, because we have sharp knives, fish netting, you know, we have the pipe.
The bone clippers.
Yeah, and then the pipe cutters, right, for doing the PVC.
Yeah. Not only that, but also the freaking, whatchamacallit, pipe cleaners as well. They could gag themselves on it.
Yep.
I've seen a couple of interesting kids do that, which is, I mean, depending on the age, of course. This one was a gosh, I want to say like one and a half years old.
Yep.
And they weren't watching, and he was just crawling. You know what I'm saying?
You got it. Hey, Tim.
Hey, morning, Tim.
I'll tell you the other one too is to watch out for stuff you're using to clean your skimmer cups. You know, your brushes and stuff. Same idea. The pipe cleaners.
Mm-hmm.
And watching kids stick them in their mouth before you cleaned them. You know what I mean? You're talking about, you know.
It's okay. Just a little bit of diarrhea.
Just a little bit of diarrhea. Keep him hydrated. Keep him hydrated. Yep. He'll be fine. Yeah, exactly. Right?
What doesn't kill him makes him stronger.
Yeah. And actually, I believe that positive. Getting bit by a hamster. I got bit by a gerbil. And unfortunately, I dropped him.
I don't want to know.
No. Stop it. It's no Richard Gere incident.
Yeah. And no Seinfelding.
No Seinfelding. Yeah, I called him Sid Vicious because of that. And unfortunately, I dropped him. He didn't die, right? But he went to run off. And when I grabbed him, I got his tail, and a gerbil has a hairy tail. And I ripped half the skin off his tail.
Wow.
And I slid it on, hoping to hide it from my dad. And, of course, the tail fell off, right? But actually, it turned out I did a good thing by doing that because it kept him from getting an infection, and it just died off, right? So yeah, you know, whatever. And he lived for 8 more years.
Spider-Man.
You know, he was a tough gerbil, man. He was great. Bite you though every time. And hamsters are vicious little buggers, man. I've watched a hamster eat his brother. You know, like, all right, there we go.
What are you
know,
doing?
He's talking on YouTube.
Oh, he's trying to be like Spider-Man.
Oh, phew. I thought it was going to be Spider-Man. I was going to irradiate a tarantula in a microwave. I'm sure that would have worked out for me. Yeah. Oh. Nope. So yeah. So Tim, did you want to pop in? I'll send you off a link, or were you just hanging out today, brother?
Come on, guys, don't be scared. We're people too.
We don't bite hard.
Hard.
Yeah.
Without teeth. I have to take my dentures out. Wait, I don't have dentures.
Yeah. Don't get me started. I was laughing with a friend about that the other day, and he's like, "When are you getting your dentures?" And I lost my teeth due to not brushing and bad food, folks. I have diabetes, and it decided my teeth had to go. Yeah, send it off to you, Tim. Should be there soon. Yeah, unfortunately. So that's thing. I think I was telling you about that about a month ago there, Cruz. Remember I told you I snapped my front tooth? And we're talking about a fully formed tooth that looked perfectly fine, snapped in half, folks. I mean, you know, it's no joke. Yeah. It really depends on what it wants to pick on. Thankfully, it's not my eyes, you know, or my...
I mean, the blood vessels, once the blood vessels start... don't do it around your neck, please. Okay, yeah, once the blood vessels and the blood flow stops or gets deteriorated, things start dying off, and it's typically the extremities.
Yep, so I got lucky that gums, it's gingivitis I got because of the restriction of blood flow, right? And
exactly, and the antibodies can't get there.
Can't get there to heal it. You got it. Next pet I want is a scorpion. I have no problem with those pets. People want to keep them. I watch those guys too. I actually
could arachnids too.
Yeah, any of them. Yeah, they're cool, right? Like Theraphosa blonde, aka the bird-eating spider, aka the largest tarantula in the world, supposedly.
They are pretty.
They are pretty. My favorite was the guy who's like, "Yeah, man, I've never had a problem." He stuck his face in the tank to look at her, and she flicked the hairs at him, got him right in the face. Yeah, urticating hairs. Yeah, right in the face.
They're just like porcupine quills, but smaller.
You know, and thankfully I was there because he was going to fall into the tank. He panicked, right? And I'm like, "Why are you keeping this thing?" Yeah. He sold her off. Yeah, he startled her. That's what I told him. You scared her, man. She just went, "Thick, flick, get out of my face, homie."
Yeah, exactly. Thought that you were going to eat her.
Or she screamed out, "You're not my real dad." I don't know. You know, like...
You're not my real dad. Yeah. You can't yell at me.
You can't yell at me. So yeah, when Tim gets in here, I'm going to run for a cup. Ding? Satan? I love it when my phone dings and I have no idea why it dinged. Ah.
It'll get better.
Wow, it just came in that late. That's awesome.
Here, can I see the thingy? This one.
Yeah, exactly. The smaller they are, they itch, but they're not as bad. But she was a big one, so yeah, she was full grown. As far as I know, she's still over at someone's house here in St. John and doing well. And she's huge.
Does she pinky mice every once in a while?
He gives her one pinky every 6 months because I guess the fatty acids in them, it's too much, and it causes problems with their molting. Right, so from what he said, I mean, there's another hobby that's just as complicated and even more so, because all it takes is one bad molt. Think about shrimp you've lost to a bad molt.
Dude, you know how many freaking high-end freaking Masura freaking shrimp I've lost? The freaking the AAAs and stuff like that, and the supers.
Yeah,
my God, I had like a mortality rate of because I was low on iodine. I did not know that.
Nope.
And and then the shells got really, really soft, and they could not molt. They could not molt it off.
Nope, they couldn't.
Suffocated.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so it's one of those things. Yeah, the Goliath bird eater.
I think I lost close to about freaking $6,500 in that freaking batch. So I got out.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing with Doraticut said he kept black widows for a short time when he was a kid in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
they
are
are.
pretty cool. And the ones that I like are the well, I kept them outside and it was in the garden, but it was the banana spiders.
Banana spiders.
Yeah,
You're talking about
nice
the
and big.
wandering spider.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
ones that look like they have a big yellow friggin' banana on their freaking abdomen.
oh, those got okay, gotcha.
The
Orb
bananas.
weavers. Yeah,
Exactly, something
yeah,
like that. But man, their freaking webs were huge and strong, and
yeah.
one of them actually caught a freaking hummingbird and freaking
Yeah,
released it.
yeah, and then you're horrified because now it ate a bird. A bird you actually like.
No, but he
Yeah.
didn't eat it. He released it so it wouldn't like destroy the rest of the
Wreck his
web.
net. Yeah, it's not like the one. A lot of people see the one in Australia, and it shows them catching some kind of chickadee style bird and eating it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, they don't have to
Yeah.
be Goliath bird eating spiders to eat a bird, man. They just got to be big enough to catch it, right?
Well, that's kind of like getting back to our hobby too.
Yep.
Is that everybody says, oh well, that's not real food, for marine animals. Marine animals don't eat land-based stuff, and you're like, what happens when a freaking cow dies and it floats down the river, or do you know what I'm saying, or
Yep.
or a rat or something? There's something out there in the freaking ocean that's waiting right there by the freaking mouth of the river so that they could eat it. So,
Well, look at a tiger shark. They found a tire, license
Yep.
plates. Of course, human remains. But
Mhm.
it's one of those things. They're garbage eaters, man. They'll eat anything. You could
Mhm.
literally, if you wanted to, could call a tiger shark a detritivore because he just crawls along, swims
absolutely.
along the bottom of the ocean. Hey, that looks good. I'm going to swallow that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, good Lord. I think the oversensitivity to if you feed them one thing all the time, they're going to get sick.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? Beef hearts. We're just going to go ahead and feed everything beef hearts. No, change it up. Give them some liver. Give them some freaking, chicken liver, a bird, avians, freaking mammals, whatever. And give them freaking fish guts. They love fish guts. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our freaking fish that are quote unquote plant eaters, for some reason, when you throw a little piece of freaking liver, from a fish that you're cleaning, like a trout,
Yep.
into the freaking tank, it's gone.
Yep. Now, I said that yesterday. Why do orcas eat only great white shark livers? Right?
Exactly.
They attack it, kill it, eat its liver, and they're gone. Because
high in iron, buddy.
High in iron and nutrition. You know what I mean? Like, that's why, right?
Yep,
and don't feel bad for that great white, because given the opportunity, he'd eat the orca.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
And I think that the overall health of any system or organism, if you consider an organism a system, is diversity. You know what I'm saying? Diversity in diet, diversity in, conditions.
yeah,
I mean, the normal organism, if everything is too quote unquote ideal, what ends up happening is that they become very, very complacent. They become very, how do you say it, bubble boy, where you can't even fight off any infection for yourself.
nope,
Does that make sense?
it
This
does.
planet is very vicious. One thing will infect another to eat another for procreation.
Yep.
And this is a little bit deep, and this is, the way that my biology teachers have taught me, when I was in high school and in college, is that, dude, you have to have negative, well, not so much negative, but you have to have something that's in the world or in your environment that stimulates you to be better.
Yep.
I
And
mean,
you know
take
what
a
you
look at
eat.
society.
And
Oh,
I,
absolutely.
and I try to tell people, when you eat, see how you feel after you eat it, right? Not comfort food. Not just sugars. And remember that sugars are like drugs. You get hooked on them, right? It's because they release that endorphins in your brain.
Endorphins.
Right? So you got to remember, think about how you feel overall, not just that happy for the moment. You feel better for the whole day, right?
It depends on what you eat.
I started eating a higher fat diet, and here you go. How's that for counterintuitive, being a bigger fella? I had to drop the proteins and the carbs, and start eating higher fat foods and watch the fat, not saturated, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the good ones.
The
good
and
cholesterol.
I went from drinking milk once a month, you know what I mean, like here and there, to I drink a lot of milk now, right? Whole milk, right? And I've dropped 22 pounds.
I drink Lactaid. Yeah, I drink Lactaid.
Well, I don't mind the noises I make after I drink milk, so I'm just saying.
My stomach can't take it, especially under my circumstances.
Under your circumstances, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I have to drink either A2 milk or Lactaid milk. And
I'd be so.
I have to take Gas X.
Yeah, exactly, to go with it, eh? Yeah.
A little bit of simethicone with my milk, please.
Well, if the H. pylori clears up for you, that might change a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that might change.
I don't know how or where, because I know that they said sometimes it's on processed food or meats.
Yep.
That you get, especially if they don't process it right.
Correct. That's what they say anyway. Oh.
Yep. And then it could be transmitted via kissing.
Oh.
Somebody else.
Got it from someone else. Yeah, love is a social disease, man.
No. Well, no, that's what they say, how it's able to spread. But I only kissed one woman in my life. That's about it.
Yeah, so.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and if she's not exhibiting signs of gastrointestinal problems, exactly, right?
Correct.
But no, it's what it is, right? Like I woke up today, I had no, guys, I don't, I'm kind of like Dev in that regard. I generally don't have a clear topic or idea. Yesterday was kind of nice because I just had that big ick outbreak that's happening here for a lot of people. So it was easy to kind of have a topic right off, and it was like, not like I want to talk about it. Ick is something you do need to actually look up and work out for yourself as well. Relying on other people to do it, and we've talked about that at length. That ick is just, because it's such an agile little shit. You know what I mean? You got to really, really think about what you're doing with your fish. Like, everyone's like, oh, well, I took care of my fish. Did you do your coral? Well, what do you mean? So you stopped here and didn't realize that there's more information going on with ick, that it can be on the base of your coral. It can be on the, snail shells, crab shells. It could be on shrimp. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to hurt them, right? And, it's like, when you really think about it, that's the trick. That's when you start advanced reefing. You know what I mean? When you start to think about the husbandry from a different point of view versus just buying it and doing your acclimation and your dip. And everyone's like, well, I dipped. It should have killed it, right? No. Go ahead.
No.
Not at all.
See, there was a guy that just friggin' wrote on one of these threads. He goes, but I dipped everything. He goes, how in the heck am I getting freaking flatworm? Is it coming from the freaking miracle mud? And he was a little bit perturbed, and I was like, no. I was like, those don't look like typical. The ones that actually go after coral. Mm-hmm. And what it ended up being is a split tail flatworm. Those guys eat copepods.
Yep.
Or isopods. That's about it. Yep. Exactly. So, and then he's like, is it dangerous? I was like, no. I said, if it gets to a point of infestation, remember that they're breathing out a lot of CO2. So they're going to be utilizing up a lot of oxygen in your tank, and things are going to start RTNing.
What's funny is
good oxygenation. Mm-hmm.
My dip now actually involves flatworm exit. Right? I put it in the bowl.
You know what? Makes your corals freaking grow faster too.
Yep, because you're actually removing a lot of stuff when you use flatworm exit, and you're also not having to deal with that in your tank. Hey, Rookie Reefer, how you doing, bro?
Morning, Rookie Reefer. Yeah, that's also one of our tricks. Yeah. For some of our clients that want to grow their corals fast is flatworm exit.
Yeah.
Something in there allows them to grow faster.
Yeah, it's interesting because what's in it? Does anybody know what's in flatworm exit?
I kind of do, but it's proprietary.
Oh, well, keep it to yourself. We don't want to tell the world because you don't need Salifert chasing you down going, you bastard. Yeah, exactly, right? How dare you? Yeah.
Well, I mean, You know, having the inside knowledge on some of these products and knowing the people who's created them, not the sales guy, I'm not talking about the people that are at trade shows, but the guys who actually invented it, you know, and formulated it and stuff like that. Having those guys, you know, as resources, I find it as very, how do you say it, beneficial to me, and it gives me an upper hand a
Oh,
lot of the
indeed, yeah.
times. Um, I could tell you what product works. I could tell you which ones that we've tried and didn't have really much success. You know, I'm not going to say that the theory is bunk. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because it costs a lot to get products out there. It's not cheap. So
No.
if it worked on somebody's tank, you know, and it may be anecdotal or otherwise, they invested so much time and so much money into friggin' putting these labels on, making sure that they wrote everything down, making sure it looks good. So when people go, oh, that's a fish oil piece of product, you know, and you're like, dude, you know what? I think that they might have cut corners during production, or the production process is causing an issue. Do you know what I'm saying, Greg?
Exactly. Yep. It's not
So, I mean,
necessarily the fault of the guy who designed it. It's then the after
correct.
that the production phase that it becomes. Well, it's cheaper to do this.
Yeah.
Will it still work? Well, it'll kind of work good enough. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
See,
yeah.
one of the ones that was actually pretty brilliant, we utilize in wastewater water treatment, which is the removal of heavy metals and stuff like that. The Eco Aqualizer was a good product if you actually saw the original design. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was when they sent it off to get it made in China is
Yeah.
when it fell apart.
When it fell apart.
The concept is good. It's utilizing magnetism and freaking polarization of water to be able to actually strip out impurities out of the water. But you need a high enough Gaussian count in the magnetic field in order to do that, to actually align all the water molecules. You know, because water is bipolar. You know, it's got a positive
And a
side
negative
and it's got
charge.
a negative
Yeah.
side. Exactly. And the thing is that if you have enough strength, like say an electromagnet wrapped around it, I guarantee that it will take care of what the original design was intended for.
Yeah. Yeah, PPP. The thing you got to realize about China is that a 5% failure rate is acceptable, and a 20% working rate, aka it was designed this way, but if we do it this way, we save money, is acceptable too. So they end up messing up a lot of products. That's why Jabo sort of had a bad rep going, especially with their overcharged, what do you call it, adapters, the power supply. That's why they all spark.
Yeah, it's so many issues.
Right, and they still spark, but now what they did is they made sure that the controller for the Coral Box is a much hardier controller, and the Jabo return pumps, they just did them better. So go ahead.
Well, the thing is that when you make enough money, you can always improve.
Yeah. Yeah. So they realized the market was there.
Exactly. That's their mentality. If they see a market and they see a market present and a market need, they're going to fill that market want.
Yep, big time.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, I got my my 2 degrees in MBA, you know, for business and stuff like that. And you know, I spoke with Mike Paletta the other day, and he goes, you know what? If there's no market for something, no matter how good that product is, you ain't going to sell it.
Nope. You'll be there all day trying to figure out why no one's buying it, and it's just marketing, right?
Exactly.
Or you know, there's a bad taste in the mouth of somebody from prior with the product, and they're not going to touch it now. So
absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, we were talking about that the other day too. You know, he was checking up to see how I was doing. Lane gave me a call too, and you know, asked me how I was doing. Steve gave me a call.
Yep.
And you know, of course, you guys did too, or at least texted me and PM'd me. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yeah. Sometimes also, and this goes back to the hobby. Sometimes we worry about our systems and our tanks so much that we forget about taking care of ourselves. Don't ever forget to take care of yourself first.
Yeah. You come
Because if
first.
you're not, yep, because if you're not there, the tank isn't either.
Nope. Actually,
Yep.
I think I told you about that. I had my dear friend die, and her tank sitting there, and her husband has no idea what to do. You know, he knows how to feed it, and I'm like, well, if you're not going to keep it, contact her aquarium club. Someone will come help you tear it down and part it out or sell it off. I guarantee it,
exactly.
right? Because they knew her as well, right? You know, and be prepared for a hard time because that tank's personal. She's the one who set that up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yep.
Never, and kind of like what my pops always said, never live outside your means.
No. Yeah, don't go buying a pump
you know,
that you can't afford. Yeah.
Exactly. Who needs a Vectra 1 and 2 pumps if you can't afford, not being able to pay the mortgage or being able to, buy good food or going to see the doctor? You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly. There's
so
Tim.
It carried very, very strongly with me when my dad always told me that is no matter how much money you have, never live outside your means and be humble about it. He goes, all you need to do is be comfortable. You don't need a house that's like 10 times bigger just because you can afford it.
No, because if you buy the one
yep.
2 times, the one that you need, right, instead of spending 10 times more, that's 10 times more money you have to look after the house you're in.
And the family.
And the
your
family
too.
You got it. Exactly.
And the thing is that, once again, I go back to the whole tank thing, is that I'm, considering what is the optimum size for this household that I'm in right now. Back when I was single, or during, when I was married the first time, I had a huge house, probably about, I want to say 4,900 square feet over there in Vegas. It was on a half-acre lot. I had real grass in the backyard. Do you know what I'm saying? Real grass.
I do.
Half-acre. You know how much money that was that I wasted, that I could have done something else with to help the community or to help other people that really needed it.
Hey guys,
and I saw.
morning.
Hey Tim,
morning,
what's
Tim.
going on?
Morning, Tim.
Hey, Craig, I think I solved the problem of why I'm not getting the email fast.
Oh?
Yeah, it's on my phone. I have Yahoo email. When I go back and check on my computer on just a straight Outlook, it's there. It's already been there for a while. So I don't know what. Something about, I guess, how often Yahoo checks the mail.
Yeah,
it's called push.
Rate.
Yeah, it's called the push. Yeah.
The push.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem. Because then I just went back on my home computer. I forwarded it to myself on another email, and boom, it's right there.
And boom, it showed right up. Yeah, exactly.
Right so.
Cool. Well, I kind of had mentioned that before, I think. Yeah. But, I'm not going to go.
Tim don't listen.
Tim don't listen.
Just giving you a hard time. Morning, Tim.
No, good morning. Hey, you sound a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit. Just relaxing a little bit and trying to keep stress levels down. And just like, I think we're talking about, what would you call that we're talking about? Yeah. Hey, Craig. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I guess we're talking about, life and how you live it and how it reflects on how you actually reef or how you should be reefing. Little, I want to say philosophical talking this morning for me. Especially being that close to being dead twice where they had to resuscitate me.
Yeah, that was kind of scary.
You get to thinking about a lot. And, but no, it's really, really strange though, how everything kind of ties together, how you take care of yourself, or how some people take care of their systems, their reef systems a lot better than they take care of themselves and their own health.
Yeah.
And, I've heard hobbyists, and also my buddies in the hobby talk about, so-and-so takes care of his tank better than he takes care of himself. He's always going to the hospital. You know, it's like, wow. You know, we give our reef tanks vitamins, but we don't. How many people actually take them? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Do you take yours?
I do. Because I have a little 4'11" wife who won't let me get by without taking the damn thing.
Bingo. And she's your reef keeper. You're her reef tank.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You give her happiness by her watching you inside a little glass bowl.
Okay. I don't know if she. Never mind.
She's
I
a reefer.
There's probably alternative reasons why she wants me around for a while. Even though I have a rather large life insurance policy, I don't think she feels happy. She wants me around. So I don't know.
She loves you enough. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, that's not.
No, I know, it's funny. It's just being funny. He's joking.
I'm sure she loves me with every stone about her.
Yeah, I give my wife a hard time too, and I figure make jokes like that, and she slaps me.
Well, my wife's not here. That's probably why I'm saying that right now.
You're lucky. But no, it's I mean, I enjoy life. I like to be happy with what I got and be satisfied with what I got.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that before, I try to tell my son that. I go, you need to live just a little bit, but you got this much money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're always just spending exactly what you got coming in, I said, you can always do with a little bit less, and just live a little bit under.
More frugal.
A
little bit more frugal.
And you have money to do other things. You're gonna
taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And your car.
And your car.
And everything else. Everything else that helps you make that money.
Well, we try to be funny.
And that's one of one of the lessons that my pops, my mom, my grandpa, even Lang, when I was going through hard times, that they would actually talk to me and, give me a call. I'd stop by after, during college at that time.
Yep.
And I was living basically from, paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Partying. Partying.
There's a reason every time you see a Corvette, it's got an old guy in it. You know what I mean? It's because it takes so bloody long to figure that out, that if you want to have that house or you want to have that car, you got to save. And you got to spend your money wisely. And it's a big thing with the fish tanks. So everyone's like, well, you said you spent X amount of dollars on your 20. I saved up to do that. You know what I mean? I didn't go and like put myself in the hole and then still managed to kind of do that to myself because we wanted so much extra on that tank. I wanted to make that 20 as easy to deal with the new tank syndrome as it was going to get. Right?
Yep.
Now, go ahead.
I mean, even our systems, I take my time, I plan it out, I save my money, I count my dimes. I take a look at the potential stocking that I'm going to be doing, how much rock I need, what kind of freaking structures I want, what type of filtration system, and I just write this huge list. And typically I do it on Excel spreadsheets so I don't miss anything. And a lot of people don't. They just write it down and they go to the store and say, give me what I need. And then they blame the LFS for freaking giving them something that they don't want.
Yeah. It's the same thing with skimmers.
Yeah.
Right? I bump into skimmers a lot with people, right? They're like, well, I bought this skimmer, and they bought a prism, Red Sea prism, or they bought some hang on the back thing, and it's like...
1 second.
Why didn't you
get...
Yes. Oh, no, it's okay. Why didn't you get like an S150 from Coral Box? It's but it looks horrible. But it does the job that you want it to do, right? So if you're going to hang on the back, you have to take into consideration you're going to see it. It's not a piece of furniture for in your tank. It does a job. So, you know, I got a buddy, he went out and bought it, and he's so much happier because now his water's cleaner. His nitrates are falling quickly into range from 160 plus ppm down into the 50 range over almost in a couple of days, because now he's able to actually extract that crap out of the water from an overstocked 20 or a 30-gallon tank. And he's like, it's amazing. I said, I told you, you got to think about what you're putting into your tank and what you're taking out. You know what I mean? Hey, Rob, what's going on? So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's hard to explain to people that this hobby is not just about numbers, right? You know, pay attention to your tank. You can tell. You're the one who looks at it every day. You should know when something's going wrong, or it doesn't look quite right, and keep an eye on it. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you're not going to control fish behavior. We all try. I love that one. It's like that blue tang in there, he's going to do what he does, right? And hopefully he doesn't kill that blood shrimp. But if he does, well, you know what, wife? We just don't put another one in there, you know? Like, you know, we could, you know, there's just a whole thing, right? And it's one of those things, right? You know, people just want to control everything. And it's like, well, you know, sometimes you don't. You know, get as good a rein on your tank as you can get, and keep it in check, so to speak, right? You know, a range is better than trying to get a number. You know, I try to get my nitrate somewhere between 20 and 50 at all times, right? Because 50 doesn't mean my tank's super dirty, but my corals might be a little pissy. But you know what? I've seen my corals doing great at 50 ppm. You know, and my alkalinity's at 7.9, and my, you know, and I only check on the big tank here. I check once a month, and the rest of the time I just watch my tank. And if you look at my tank right now, and you guys can't see it, I'm going to try and get a view next time. The mushroom that's on the rock and behind the picture here. Let me see if I can actually move this. Here, give me a sec there. You can see it a little better here. It's a little out of focus, but that thing there is as super puffed out as I've ever seen it. So I know he's about to split up again. So he's going to move out, and there's going to be 2 or 3 more of those guys. And they look great because they're brown with a green base on them, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I gotta get going.
That is all right, brother.
We're picking up the we're picking up the puppy today, and I need to get ready for it.
No, exactly. Yeah. And
yeah,
I'm
getting a little pup.
What kind is it?
Little shit. It's a little bullshit.
Yeah, a little bullshit.
A little Shih Tzu.
Oh, okay. No, I'm a dog person. I love dogs.
Yeah, I love dogs. I love fish. I like reptiles. I like birds. Birds of prey.
Sometimes they're easier to deal with than people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
That's why I like my dogs. Like I said, if the wife ever talks me into one, it's going to be, I think he's in the Philippines somewhere. Rookie, aren't you? I think. I know Rip's over in the Philippines for sure. Yeah, but Rookie Reefer?
Rookie Reefer is over there in Aussie.
Is he in Australia?
South. Dude, he hasn't gotten to me. Rookie Reefer, you need to freaking contact me, buddy.
Yeah. There you go.
Are you going to? I want to go friggin' diving on the friggin' GBR again.
On the Great Barrier.
Everything's good.
Yeah.
So help me. Help me help you. Help me help you. Help me.
Yeah, Rookie, if you put your email in there right quick, I'll grab it and I'll remove it and I'll send it to you direct and I'll put you on my list.
That would be like bucket list stuff, man. You know, that would be great.
Oh, absolutely. I've been there once before, but that was more for fishing and then snorkeling. Briefly off the side of the boat.
Yeah.
But I didn't stray away from the boat too far because, there's a lot of things out there that could potentially freaking gobble my little happy.
Well, that's no kidding. Like I said, I'd be the one screaming in the water, it's got my leg. It'd be like, it's got my leg. It's got my leg. Right. Like, that would be, fuck, yeah, pretty much, right? Or all of a sudden you hear that crunch and you hear me go, yeah. Are you kidding? Yeah, exactly, right?
When I see those videos of divers down there in the Great Barrier Reef, or any big coral reef, I'm just always like, God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, you saw that guy friggin' shit himself when that friggin' that great white friggin' swam right by him. You saw like a little friggin' cloud of like friggin' puff coming out of his friggin' wetsuit.
Yeah, exactly. You know my favorite one? You guys ever see the one from Australia where he jumps off the cliff and when he's swimming in the water you see the great white? Right? And it shows him getting out of the water in a big hurry. I love how people thought that was real, right? And it's like, no, they were, no. I'm not going to say it's complete, but the thing is, it would never be that close coming at him and not, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Yep, you're not pissing yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the kind of great white we're talking about, Thumbs.
Oh.
But those
definitely not the friggin' rock band. Huh?
We look at those corals that they see down there, and sometimes we think,
gonna cook for you.
well, I've had this coral for a couple of years, and look how big it is. But then you go there, and you're like, holy cow! I mean, like these big monies and stuff that've been there probably hundreds of years. They're like, Jesus, they're the size of my house,
The thing is that a lot of people don't understand that corals really don't take that long to get to that size.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah,
it's one built up on another, built up on another, built up on another. And we get what we call the layering, the layering effect, in the organisms or in the reef system. And the thing is that if underneath ideal conditions, enough oxygen, enough nutrients and stuff like that, they grow very, very, very fast.
Yeah.
Even in our systems, we're trying to do ideals over here at Elegant Corals, and we're noticing that we constantly run out of freaking tank space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to slow it down. Does that kind of make sense? Especially in display tanks, for a lot of the customers, they don't want to see white spots where you fragged off their corals. You know what I'm saying? They just want to maintain where they're at. And that's where, we utilize LEDs and temperature control and nutrient control.
Exactly. How you doing, Rookie? Rookie's in the house.
I was going to say, geez, I wish I had that issue of my corals growing too quickly.
Really, eh?
Dude, you have the freaking GBR right there, giving you examples.
Look at some of these fresh pieces I just got up there.
You're Australian. You must have a freaking kangaroo for a pet. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, mate. I'm kidding. You have a koala.
I picked up some new coral like about a week ago or something, so I got a couple of stags there.
What was that, Tim?
Right. I said a kangaroo and a koala.
Drop bears, they call them down there.
Me personally, I love the little wallabies and the wombats.
Wombats. Yeah, go up and pet a wombat. That'd be.
Those wombats are crazy, man.
They're nuts. No, that's like messing with a honey badger.
Just watching them, watching them on National Geographic hopping like little friggin' fat fucks. You know what I'm talking about? Like the capybaras down in the south. They just look funny, They got big old broad nose and friggin' little tufty ears. They look like a friggin' gosh darn friggin' what is that called? A friggin' ground koala or a friggin' teddy bear.
You say what you want, but Americans have enough weird creatures. Like, I look at some of your animals, and it's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I know. I mean, some of them are
what's an opossum? Them things are friggin' ugly as hell, man. We got these possums that are cute as hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you want to trade?
No.
Yeah, we got possums.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also have trash pandas, too. Lots of trash pandas.
Lots of trash, yeah. I love that one when it shows trash panda and it shows all the cute names for animals and it gets to a cat and it just says asshole. Right? Like, it's so true, right? Exactly. It's one of those things. Yeah,
coyote. Polyp extension, but that's one thing I haven't had. I've always struggled with like acros a little bit, and I've kind of just got them, so I'm starting to get happy. That.
Not a problem. The key is stability, like everybody always keeps mentioning.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you exactly what needs to be stable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like an overgeneralization. What is the secret to friggin' a happy life? Well, having a happy life.
Yeah.
it's like okay, well that doesn't help me worth shit. So.
Agreed.
And then they go, oh, well, all your conditions have to be stable. and things will adapt to it. Not that fast. It took the freaking stuff in the ocean millions of years to freaking adapt to what they are today, and hundreds or thousands of years to be able to do, different, different variations of that. So, yeah.
Hey, how you doing today, Mr. Williams?
Good morning, Paul.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
I haven't heard from you in a while. Freaking just dropped off, ignored me. F you too.
So, it only takes
Here we go.
6 months to get one coral 6 inches wide or around.
Yep.
That's what she said.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much they all grow fast.
Yep, they do grow fast.
Yep.
You give them the friggin' things that they need, they grow very, very fast. I mean,
it kind of does depend, but sorry to cut you off, because a lot of the times, like when you actually fragment a coral, it will grow quicker. So there's factors in that. A lot of corals grow pretty slow by themselves, but when we fragment them, it increases the growth rate.
Yeah, see, but a lot of people, Rookie, is that they don't see the girth. Do you know what I'm saying? Because corals also grow like trees. They start widening out, and a lot of people can't see that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very, very incremental at that point. They relate growth to how far a branch can grow. Yeah. Which is interesting too. You know what I'm saying? Well, the perception of growth. Yeah.
It's kind of all these corals are just building up calcium on top of each other, so the skeleton does just expand, and it's going to grow up, it's going to grow outwards. It's not until you kind of start picking up your corals and actually playing with them when they retract and lose all the water out of their flesh that you can see the actual skeletal structure, and you get a bit more of an idea how that particular coral works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. What were you going to say there?
Especially with the freaking corallites. Yeah. The corallites tell you a big story of of the polyp size and the bowls that they actually sit in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So it's amazing.
Here is my biggest problem is actually getting the coral into my tank. Like once I get it in my tank, I can grow it fast. But actually going out and spending $100 on a frag or piece,
that's where you have the problem. Oh, of course, because you want to make sure that that's what you want. You know what I'm saying, as a coral, and whether or not it's worth it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to take a look at the structure when they're adults. You know what I'm saying? Full-grown colonies. Because certain structures look good, some don't. You know what I'm saying? Or some like the staghorns grow straight up. You know what? I don't want an entire tank that just looks like friggin' a forest. Do you know what I'm saying? I want to see plating monies. I want to see the friggin' plating acroporas. I want to see, or the shelving acroporas as they call it.
Yep.
And, different structures is what I enjoy. All mixed up in
3D dimension is what I like.
Yeah, the dimension.
Just like that. Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? Stirring up chocolate milk?
Scrambling eggs for the little guy.
There you go. No, it's okay. I'm like, geez, he's stirring something. What are you stirring? Weren't we just talking about not having too much lactose? Stirring the pot.
Stirring up the pot.
Bet you didn't know Cruz likes to stir the old pot. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Meanwhile, Cruz is sitting there on his oldie time typewriter, sending a smoke signal out to someone.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you trying to say, youngster?
Nothing at all. You mentioned you were getting a puppy. What type of dog you getting, Cruz?
It's gonna be a little Shih Tzu.
I'm gonna
call him a little shit.
yeah, pretty much.
Little shit.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, what was that, Tim?
I don't know what he's doing, but it made me want to go get a cup of coffee. So
there you go. I just did. So go ahead.
I have that effect on people too.
No. Subliminal thoughts.
Yes, and that too makes them drool.
Yeah. I think my favorite was Colby's just getting into reefing, right? My tech weenie. And he's watching, and he comes in and he looks at the 20 and he goes, oh man, there's algae. And I'm like, and? He's like, well, aren't you worried about it? I went, no.
Something's going to eat it.
I said, it'll clear up. I said, there's, it's fine, man. I said, I'm looking after it, I said, right now, I said, this tank's still in I got to do a lot of water changes. I said, here and there. I said, because it's just not established yet, right? Eventually, it'll balance out, right? In fact, I got some Fritz Zyme 460 on the way, so I'm hoping that's going to be the next sort of evolutionary step, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the bacterial stability is like one of the keys. And I know I've preached it numerous times that,
really?
The stability to a friggin' reef tank is the bacterial population.
Yep.
It's, it's your nutrient export as well as your friggin' organics, excess organic, how are you going to say it? Like the trash man, they take it out, they bring it to the skimmer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In themselves, because they ate it, well, they're going to get skimmed out. Well, so does all the excess nutrients along with it.
Yepper.
So, Craig.
Yo.
So, being Canadian.
Okay.
All of a sudden, this thing.
Yeah, here we go.
And being who you are. See, I'll tie these two together in a minute. Being who you are, I know that you've seen Deadpool 2 by now, right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not admitting to anything on here, but yeah, okay.
I want to go see it. I haven't as soon as I can. It's on my list.
Okay, so what? Being that I'm Canadian, you mean did they make any Canadian jokes again? Yeah, of course.
No.
So what does this have to do with reefing?
You being Canadian.
I'm just kidding.
You being Canadian, I know you like Deadpool, and so no, I just thinking maybe you I haven't seen it.
Is it worth seeing? Yes, it is. It is very much so.
Ryan Reynolds is a friggin' hoot.
The whole scene. Let me just say, there is a scene that they, remember in the first one with the baby hand. Feel the skin is so soft, right? There's another scene like that in this one. You will not stop laughing. Trust me, and it's just great.
But Ryan Reynolds played that other guy in the first, I want to say the first X-Men, where he was, how do you say it? He was a smartass, right?
Yep.
And so friggin' sewed his mouth shut. What character was that?
Deadpool.
No. The one with the swords that came out of his his hands.
Deadpool.
Again?
In Wolverine Origins, which is the one you're talking about, that was Deadpool. Yeah, and that's what killed that movie. That was supposed to be Deadpool. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Because at the beginning of the movie, when you see Ryan Reynolds in Wolverine Origins, he's talking. That's the thing. That's Deadpool. And if you think about it, listen to what he calls, what his father calls him. He says, "Wait, how you doing, Haley girl?" Oh, that's Lisa. Sorry, jeez, my wrenches. There she is. That's Lisa. How you doing today, Lisa? How's the tank?
What's happening, Lisa?
Hello, Lisa.
It's super mud.
I am really dying to get my Miracle Mud cruise. I really am. That situation that came up that blew that for me for a little bit. I can't wait because I keep looking at it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. The donations are going to come in. I'm going to get it. Right? Yeah. And then it's like, well, I'm moving. Crap, I'll do it after I move because the tank's going to go through hell, right?
And you know what? Once again, like I always said, take care of yourself first.
Yep.
The tank will come.
Exactly, right? So once I get set up in the new place, I would imagine you're got to be getting close to ready. You've got an ATM Colony or Dr. Tim's in there by now, have you not? And if you have, I would probably guess you could get away with a couple of clowns. If you got that crab out of there.
Yep.
Because you don't want that crab in there, even with clowns, because if he can muckle onto them, he'll get them. Yeah.
Yep. So anyways, while I'm cooking, I'm going to talk to you for a little bit, so I apologize for the noise.
Nope, that's okay. We can handle it.
Something about clams?
Yeah, go ahead. No, sorry? Crabs.
I love clams.
Crabs, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Which kind of clam? The one you took?
if you can, I'll tell you, Lisa, if you can go out today and get a bottle of ATM Colony Marine, it's a hairy emerald. You had it identified. Good enough. It's a hairy clam. What? Anyway, so moving on. I love how that one just blew right over. If you can get a bottle of ATM Colony, you have a 40-gallon tank, so an 8-ounce bottle. Shake it up, dump the whole thing in, and put a couple of clowns in there, and you'll be fine. You could literally today. Because you've already let it establish. The biofilm's probably already on the rock, so you could actually get away with that, and then let the tank just settle out from that point. I guarantee you could. Yeah.
But the whole hobby is about patience.
And that's just it, exactly.
You don't want to rush too many things.
It's not a race. Dude, a long time ago, Rookie Reefer, what we were talking about before.
Yep.
Not a race.
Yeah, that's exactly.
This is supposed to be for your enjoyment.
Speaking about clams quickly, before we change subjects,
sure.
Clams, they're uber expensive in Australia.
They are.
I saw a good deal from my LFS. So he had some like blue lightnings and some tiger stripes or whatever they're called for $85 each, and I was like, oh, I was tempted, but I didn't bite the bullet. And I went down there the other day and I saw them, and they were about half a bloody inch. That was tiny.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll trade you for coral.
Yeah, no. I'll keep my coral, thanks.
We'll trade you, buddy.
No, it's good. I went in there.
Yeah, you guys have some nice red ones that I'm.
He just got in a bunch of wild colonies, so he had like probably about 40 or 50 wild colonies of acros in there. It was very tempting.
So you know Christian then?
Christian who?
Oh,
I know Christian, yeah, but my LFS owner is actually having troubles with him at the moment because he hasn't come through with a bunch of orders, and he's been saying he can get a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I know Christian really well. I went up to Macca last year. Well, not really well, but I got on the piss with him last year up at Macca.
The thing, what the LFS is experiencing is the friggin' seasonal. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the seasonal the switchover. So what's promised is that they could get it. They have the friggin' they have the licenses to get it. The only problem is it worth getting right now? Do you know what I'm saying? Due to the friggin' coral colonies.
Without saying too much and without going into it too much, like they were pretty good friends, so there must have been something happened there.
Exactly.
So, like,
Exactly.
But he's got another supplier up there that's a family business in Cairns, and apparently they're a pretty good collector. So you may want to have a look around.
Yeah, Christian's a good guy. Spoken to him numerous times.
100%.
So so it's not really. There's no malice in it. There's no greed. Do you know what I'm saying? For a lot of the people that don't know him, it's things happen. Life happens.
Certainly does, especially with this trade. And you're kind of relying on a lot of things, weather dependent, all sorts of crap.
Exactly, and when they're going out there collecting, you really want to collect the best of the best, because even if you collect the regular crap, it's still a count on tonnage, what I'm saying, or pounds. So you don't want to just go out there arbitrarily and just start picking.
Yeah, 100%.
So there's a lot more that goes into, selecting corals and doing some harvesting, from the reefs and stuff like that. That I think a lot of people don't understand either. You know what I'm saying, Rookie?
Yeah, no, I've been out with a collector before. It's definitely interesting, that's for sure.
Speaking of Miracle Mud, looks like Paul's got a new video out running my system running Triton Core 7 with Miracle Mud.
Yep, he does. Yep.
It's actually a pretty good video.
Is it? I'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
And then our friend Steve Rotter.
A video. I'm going to do one of them. Sorry.
No, it's okay. What was that, Tim? Yeah, Rotter, you got another one up, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Rookie, I'll subscribe to you as well, mate.
Yeah.
Ozzy, it's no real topic today.
Busy.
Just sort of
busy and been in the hospital.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Mr. Rookie Reefer, you haven't put a comment on any of my videos. What's up?
What?
Content?
Dude, I haven't had time. If I'm not making videos...
And here he is giving me a hard time.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm not making videos, I'm not watching YouTube, that's for sure. I'm bloody too busy for that stuff lately. I see the occasional live stream and I'll jump on, but that's about
You'll
it.
jump in. No, well, you're always welcome. Know that.
Yep.
You're always welcome, and
I do. Yeah, exactly. Like Cruz will tell you, I do a much more free form. Like if we have a topic, we'll try to stick to it. I run usually about 2 hours or so, and I just try to stick with it as best we can. I mean, you know, Friday night and Saturday, and even kind of Sunday are a little more free form. But Monday to Friday, I try to stick with
Especially when the drinks start flowing.
Yeah, oh yeah, Friday night and Saturday night, oh, the things we have talked about. It's like, nope, we are way off topic now, folks. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but a little bit of bourbon and a little bit of Jack takes you different places.
Liquid, a little, exactly, a little.
It definitely does happen. It definitely does happen.
I was at
all the shows over here.
Yeah,
you guys are lucky.
Oh.
In Canada, Craig, do you have many shows up there?
Shows such as what? In what way?
Like choral shows.
No.
Or like even kind of choral meetup. Yeah.
You know, frag swaps. There's a one. Well, we do. I'm in Eastern Canada, so I'm on next to Maine. And no, not really. And the guy running the one that is here, I mean, I wouldn't buy shit from that guy. I wouldn't put that guy out if he was on fire by pissing on him. So, you know, but that's me. You know, geez, Craig, you got a problem with him? Just a little. You know what I mean? But I know there's a big show coming up in Toronto. I know Lisa from Lisa Aquatics there can speak to that one. That's going to be the first big show that's going on in Canada. Yes. And I know out west, so BC and Alberta, they have a lot more.
Can Mommy feed you?
Yeah. What's if Lisa's still there, what is the name of that show coming up?
Let Mommy feed you. That is making the food for you.
I've heard Dev mention it, definitely, on his stream before or something. I'm sure he'll be there.
Yeah, he will again.
It's the same thing for Australia. We don't have too many bigger shows, and we're just getting Reef stock over here, which is like what Jake Adams, or whatever his name is.
Well, you got to remember, right? It comes down to a population to the hobby, right? And you know, when you consider Canada's only got 36 million people in it, you're not going to have a Macna up here. You know what I mean? You're just not, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's
also the area as well. A lot of Canada's bloody cold. I wouldn't want to be heating a tank all year.
Believe it or not, it's not that big a deal, right? You know, it's not really that much colder here than it is in, say, Michigan, right? You know, it really depends where you are.
I'm used to the Gold Coast. I'm used to average of like 30 degrees Celsius year round.
Well, you know what? I was joking. Oh, no, go ahead.
At the moment, it's about 14 degrees, and I'm freezing my little titties off.
Yeah, we're out in shorts and a T-shirt at 14 degrees. So, you know, for us, it is a little different. But you know what's funny? I was going to say, at least I don't have to worry about going swimming and getting eaten by a shark. But since we're starting to see great white sharks in much more demand in the Bay of Fundy where I live, I'm not getting in the water here either. Plus, it's too damn cold. The water here is like 52 degrees on average in the summer. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's not Australia, that's for sure. Yeah.
You can't let stuff like that hold you back, but like fears from like getting eaten by a shark.
Oh, dude, no. Look up what I have.
For sure.
Yeah, you got to look up what I have. I have something called galleophobia, right, which is an irrational fear of sharks. And all you got to do is know that my mother took me to see Jaws 2. When I was 7 years old, and that pretty much screwed me for the rest of my life. And then my dad let me watch Piranha 2 years later, so that was pretty much it. You know, it's like, why didn't you just let me watch Little Lord Fauntleroy like I asked? And then instead you showed me this.
Medication for that? Like, just give you a couple Xanax or a Valium or something?
Oh, no, you know what, I was laughing with a friend of mine, and I've joked about it before. You give me too many drugs, I'll be the guy in the Shark Tank at SeaWorld going, it's got my leg! You know, like, you know, I know it's an irrational fear. I'm aware of it. It's just, you can't, it's that deep-rooted one. You just can't get rid of it. Yet, you know, like, it was Rip the other night grabbed a hold of a little baby snake and he put him back over in another yard and he didn't realize it until he was really looking at it and he looked it up. It was a baby cobra.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, you're an idiot. Well, you know, and he's like, oh, well, you know, it was so small it couldn't bite me. I said, yeah, right up until it bit you. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Exactly.
I would not risk that. That's, you know, it's just foolish on the face of it, right? But yeah.
Yeah, just because Australia's full of snakes and spiders doesn't mean we're not all like afraid of it. Shit's scared of snakes. I don't like them at all.
No, I'd be Peter from The Family Guy, dude. I'd get off the plane and a koala bear would just slap to my face the minute I walked off. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd be the one up on the dining table, up on any surface in the area.
Yeah. Now, my favorite would be, I want to get Michael Aarons here just so I can take him around and show him moose, right? Because, like, it's so hard to get him on camera, but I just want to see him chase after a moose and just go ahead and wait for it, folks. Right?
Moose are crazy, aren't
Oh,
they?
they are.
Like,
They're nuts.
nuts.
Yeah, they are nuts. Yeah, and
What's
somebody's
wrong
like,
with them? They're angry animals.
well, all they want to do is breed. Pretty much, that's it, right? Make more moose so that when they get snapped by trucks, I mean, our trucks look like your trucks. They're not as big.
That's why they're so angry. They got blue balls or something.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just walking around. You know, I always laughed. I lost a set of speakers one time when we were going to play a gig. They fell off the back of the pickup truck because for some reason I was an idiot and forgot to tie them down, and the road was unusually heaved that spring. And I joked around that one of the moose must have grabbed the speaker when it fell off, and now he's doing woodland critter karaoke. You know what I mean? Or he's walking around in the woods going, "Hello, Mr. Hunter, come closer. I'm here." You know, like just messing with him, right? You know.
Exactly.
You know, French-Canadian moose. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Come here.
You actually wouldn't. You actually wouldn't go diving.
No, I can't anyway. My ears are too problematic for anything deeper than about 8 feet. So.
Yeah.
And he also has an unnatural fear of sharks.
It's when I say it's unnatural, I have no, dude. I have to.
It's not really unnatural.
It's irrational.
That's natural.
That's natural. It's irrational. I'm the guy that walks up to a pool in the backyard in Canada and has to look first. Right? That's how irrational it is. I have to look, even though I know there's no way. No. Hold on. I'll make it better, Cruz.
Well, I mean, you think about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I use salt water to keep my pool clean. That saltwater filtration system they're using on some pools now, and I'm like, and now I'm looking in the pool, going, okay, and no, we're good. You know what I mean? Like it's
It's even worse for me. I've got a pool cover over my pool, and you peel it back a tiny bit, and you go swimming under. My missus freaks out. She's like, "Oh, what's under there?"
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, when we're talking about natural fears, I mean, you see your cat. You put a cucumber right next to them, and they jump like high holy hell.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, is it? You know, that definitely is an innate response. If something startles you, you know, you will. If it looks like something like a snake, they will jump too. You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of does. But they're okay with a freaking rubber snake.
Yeah.
So what's the? You know,
what is it exactly? So, you know, it's not like the cat can tell you. You know, it's you know.
But the thing is, the more you have a fear and the more you actually overcome it, the better it makes you feel, and the more you feel like you can accomplish.
Become complacent.
You know, it's funny.
Why weren't complacent?
Yeah, exactly. You know what's really funny is that Rookie wasn't here earlier when we were laughing about, you know, with my luck, I'd be the guy that would get in the water, and all of a sudden, you know, you hear that bone-crunching snap of a shark biting down, and hear me going, right? You know, like, you know, that would be me, right?
Well,
like,
I mean, exactly. But, I mean, you take a look at Steve Irwin.
Oh,
he
yeah.
wasn't scared of a lot of things.
Nope.
He got tagged. You know what I'm saying?
And it was his, and he was protecting the camera guy.
He was protecting it, protecting the camera.
I'm not telling you to go be friggin' Steve Irwin, Cruz.
Yeah.
Don't.
I want to wrangle a crocodile. Well, I mean, when we were kids, we used to freaking go and freaking pick up toads and, you know what I'm saying, go for something. You know,
he wasn't quite all there in the head. He's an awesome dude, but he wasn't quite right. I swear he got dropped on his head as a kid or something.
Yeah,
well,
you know.
Well, I mean, neither was Evel Knievel.
No, and that guy wanted to jump.
They have something in common, and that's the crazy thing. They actually do. They have something in their brain where it's not wired differently, but there's different signals.
Adrenaline, I think.
Yeah, adrenaline junkies.
Different ways to perceive fear.
You get them drunk. Yeah, you get some drunk.
No. All I can think about with Steve Irwin is South Park. when they had him. Oh, crikey! All right, now I've got him. Now I'm gonna jam my thumb in his butthole. You know, like it's. What are you doing? Why are you know? Like,
I've seen that show in years.
You know,
they did some
I love
ridiculous
Steve
stuff.
Irwin.
I don't know how they got away with some of the stuff they said. Hey.
You know, there should be a South Park reefing
channel. Yeah, that's right. All right, now what you're gonna do?
Just a cartoon.
Just a cartoon. Yeah. They did. Yeah. Sea men with sea monkeys equals society. Look it up.
Seaside.
Seaside.
But that's not reefing.
Well, it was for Cartman.
Was
Anyway,
close,
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, you know, when you think about it.
He built an extravagant freaking thing, didn't he?
Yeah, and all he had to do was go behind the liquor store, right, and suck it out of a hose. Remember?
That sounds way more sus than it was meant to be.
Oh, I'll tell you. Yeah, on that note.
I'm
yeah.
going to head off.
All right, guys.
It's 4 a.m. in the morning here,
Yeah.
so I better go.
Sounds like a good plan. Thanks for dropping it.
Later, mate.
Later, rookie.
All right.
Take care, people.
Later, Bruce.
Later. Hey, guys, I'm going to also drop off. I told you that I would.
Yeah, and I told you guys normally it's about 2 hours where everyone, you know, I'm getting my late nighters I got to go and everybody else has got to run. So I'm going to cut it off and get my business for the day done because I've only got 2 hours before everything closes. So thank you all for coming by. I appreciate it as always. Don't forget, if you want to, you know, donate to my channel, that's there in the description. Please feel free. If not, thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Check the bell. Make sure it's there. Thanks for dropping in for Live with Reefer Madness, man. Later, taters. Hey, Bubba.